Really quick, everybody, this entire video will be timestamped, so if you don't want to watch all the thing and just get straight into a different topic, please check the pinned comment or check the red bar right down below you. Again, this entire video will be timestamped, and I appreciate you guys watching whatever part that you'd like to. And if you're sticking around, guys, hello everybody and welcome back to the video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels, and this is the Talk at Clen series on the channel where I ask you guys to jump in the Discord server, which is in the pinned comment and the description down below, by the way. If you want to join, we would love to have you there. And I ask you guys to talk at me, tell me something. Usually we talk about Fortnite and gaming, but of course we can talk about anything at all. And recently we've been talking about the Fortnite storyline, which I kind of really enjoy. And also there's a little bit of a noise on my screen right there, so I apologize if you heard it. This video is a mess. Let's get into it. Timestamps are there if you need them. Starting off with the first one, seeing how the Fortnite maps are named after Greek mythology characters, primarily Greek gods, and also specifically being with what could be the Chapter 5 map be called. Excuse me, sorry, I just mispronounced that little bit there. What could the Chapter 5 map be called? I'm not too updated on my Greek mythology, but it's interesting. It's definitely going to be something Greek mythology related. I still want a Greek mythology season, man. That would be really cool. It's tough because I know Apollo and Artemis are brother and sister, which is very interesting. I love the way they did that because the island flipped and it's still kind of like the same island. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the Chapter 4 map is called, but I don't know what the Chapter 5 map could be called. I don't know anything about the Greek gods, so guys, drop your comments down below. But it's definitely going to be something Greek mythology, I can tell you that. I think if Epic made Rift items instead of a Rift POI, Season 10 wouldn't have been looked on as badly. Instead of a taco time, how about a taco bomb? Oh, instead of a taco time, how about a taco bomb? Just like a boogie bomb puts a player into taco time when you throw it at them, and it only flicks the player who you throw it at, and you can only find it in Greasy Grove. Instead of no build and tilted town, make an item that disables a player's ability to build you throw it at. Excuse me. For zombies, make an item that spawns zombies and target whoever you throw the item at. That's interesting. That's very interesting. That would change Season X a lot. I like the idea, but I feel like people wouldn't use the ones besides the taco time because that's like a boogie bomb. But I don't know, like it would have to be a little bit overpowered for like a zombie one, to be honest. It's tough, but I think that would take away from what Season X was, because then you would have like no map changes. You know what I mean? That was the biggest like plus about Season X. I think that's toughy. That's tough because I'm somebody who really loves Season X, and I'm thinking, like, I don't really want to change Season X, but so many people didn't like Season X, and now are looking back on it fondly, but we'll not get into that today. It's tough. I don't know, man. It's a good idea. I wouldn't like it personally because I loved Season X, but guys, please, again, in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this, especially if you're somebody who didn't like Season X. Would this be a fix for you? Ignore the brutes, because those were nerfed, and don't talk about brutes being the problem of the season. Specifically, talk about would this help it? Would this help your opinion on Season X? Would this have been better to have than the POI changes specifically? Don't start going on about the mechs, because we've heard that many times before. Let's move on. Chapter 5 will be a fresh restart with new characters and new story and a new map and even a whole new beginning to a new story. That's what I want to see so bad. New everything, so no more 7, no more IO, new everything, restart the entire story. I don't know if I agree with this one either, because I like the ideas. Like, I always love what Epic Games does, and they haven't done it to the best of their ability recently, because I really like if they bring back the new Syndicate storyline, for example, you know what I mean? Something new here, but the other storyline's still intact. If we're restarting the story, something that I always really wanted to see was a prequel to Fortnite. And at the end of that story, we go into Chapter 1, which would be really cool. Or you could, like, phase it as like a memory of the 7, you know what I mean? So once that chapter ends, we go the cutscene's like a little bit of like you're coming out of the flashback and you're going back to reality, you know what I mean? Okay, we're back in the present, let's continue. But I wouldn't want everything to be erased, you know what I mean? We've come way too far for that. But I would like if there's a brand new chapter, you start a brand new story and really flush out that story. I'd really like that. I just don't want to erase anything. Does that make sense? Now, guys, really quick, this is a spoiler for something that is in the leaks right now. I don't think it's a big deal personally, but just wanted to give you that. This is adding to the Greek mythology characters part that we were just talking about. Epic are working on a POI for a WIP map name of Demeter, who is a Greek goddess back in August of 2021. A bunch of POI names under the WIP map named Demeter were leaked, so I'm assuming Chapter 5 will be called Demeter. Now, I was very curious on how that related to anything, and I actually didn't know about that leak, which is very interesting, so I have it up on my other monitor here. Demeter was the ancient Greek goddess of harvest. She was a very important goddess to the ancient Greek people who farmed a lot of their food. Demeter had a kind and beautiful daughter, and that's going into some other stuff, right? So it's just the Greek goddess of harvest. I don't know necessarily how that would relate unless you want to take literally harvesting like we do in Fortnite oftentimes. But I don't think that's it. Maybe if I could, actually, that would make for a really interesting video that I could look into, where it's like, hey, maybe Demeter has this to do with Artemis. Maybe this has to do with Apollo, Athena, you know what I mean? Very, very interesting. And did they say it was a daughter? No, she had a daughter. Doesn't say who they're the daughter or they're related to. So I can look into that for a video, which would be very, very interesting. But that's an interesting idea. They're already working on something for Chapter 5. Let's move on, though. I don't think it's too bad that we don't have everything for Unreal Engine Fortnite right away, because this way creators will learn things as it progresses without it being overwhelming. I agree with this, Mark. I agree with this, but at the end of the day, it isn't a complicated system, so I wouldn't be upset. Like, I don't know what's right. You know what I mean? I would prefer that they just added everything right away. But there's no problem with the way they went about it. You know what I mean? I don't have too much else to add to that one, to be honest. We'll touch on this very quickly from Watio Clen. I just want to say congrats on the 8K subscribers. Thank you very much. And thank you to everybody who always participates in these videos. Help me make these videos. It's so much fun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to be one of the biggest channels of all time. We're going to take over YouTube. Let's move on again. I have a theory surrounding the release date of two highly anticipated Marvel characters to Fortnite. For a start, the two characters I'm talking about are both Miles Morales and Spiderman 2099. For a start, it couldn't be more obvious that these two characters the community is itching to get into Fortnite, given the amount of times they were shown up in a collab wishlist surveys, most of the time within the top 20 on the list, and was also given the rampant amount of videos and clickbait discussing when these characters will eventually drop. However, I believe I've narrowed down a highly likely release window for both these skins. 1. The movie. The next film involving a Spider-Verse releases on June 2nd, which is coincidentally the exact same day as Chapter 4 Season 2. Is it June 2nd? Interesting. And, excuse me, the exact same day that Chapter 4 Season 2 ends. Given the timing, I think it's likely that one of these two characters will be in the Battle Pass, but given in the other information I'm about to mention, I believe it'll likely be 2099 rather than Miles in the Battle Pass. 2. Miles had item shop tags. For those that are unaware, Miles was originally, according to Hypex and Shinna, supposed to release back in Chapter 3 Season 4 as an item shop skin, most likely in the original release date set for the film. Interesting. I don't know if I knew that. Regardless, if I did, I forgot. Anyways, set for the film, it was later likely postponed due to the film being delayed until June 2nd, which leads me to believe Miles will likely be an item shop skin. 3. The comic covers. During the Zero War comics, people had the option of spending an extra few dollars to own special edition Zero War comics with their own cover designs, 2 of which showed off both Miles and 2099. However, these covers are shown in what they seem to be an early design of what we now know to be Mega City. We know Epic plans years in advance, so this cover art is not out of the question just to be a coincidence, especially considering Chapter 4 was already pretty much finished and ready to release. 4. Release window. As for the two skins, I believe 2099 will be likely a part of the Season 3 Battle Pass due to Miles having item shop tags back from Chapter 3 Season 4. As for Miles, I believe the most likely time frame for his release, will likely be either during the 24.50 update for the late week of Season 2 or a few days into a week after the release of Chapter 4 Season 3. And there's also the two pictures of the characters here. Very, very interesting. Man, so I get excited for your theories because they make so much sense. And I don't have anything to add to it. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. I know Miles is probably going to come with a brand new movie, and that's probably why he was delayed. I don't remember him having an item shop tag, though. You're bringing a little bit of a bell there. I probably just forgot about it. I should have known that, right? Miles was coming a long time ago. But man, the movie's coming out. I can see it. And it's an interesting idea for Miles not being part of the Battle Pass. I prefer crossovers in general to be in the item shop, as you guys know. But that would mean 2099 might actually be in the Battle Pass. Actually, something I don't know, though, is the hype for 2099 Spider-Man. I don't get it. I don't know anything about that Spider-Man. I don't know if it has something to do with Miles Morales. If somebody could help me out in the comments down below, I would appreciate that. But this theory just slaps. As usual, Sizzo. Thank you so much for sharing. Must have taken a lot of work, to be honest with you, to come up with something like that. Let's move on, though. It's weird how Epic hasn't added the recon scare and the railgun back to the game, yet this is a futuristic season. I know. Two of my favorite guns from my favorite season. I was so excited for them to come as an augment, and I was like, oh yeah, we're getting a futuristic Japanese themed season. It's time to add that. That's what they were waiting for, and we still don't have it. I'm like, oh, come on, man. I love the recon scanner. I love the railgun. I love rocket riding people with the recon scanner, which nobody else does, but it's just so much fun. It's such a fun item. Come on, Epic, and give it to us. I feel like the reception with some of the new skins would be totally different if they haven't already been shown in a survey. For example, the Tegan skin from the latest starter pack, she looked arguably better in the survey, and the transition to 3D felt like a downgrade and a reminder that she is almost a reskin of the banner skins. A very good point. I'm against kind of the idea for survey skins in general, because we all know like what kind of skins Epic Games is working on. I love seeing the brand new update and there's like complete surprises. But it's an interesting idea, GoldLiner. It's an interesting idea that you point out it being because it's a transition to 3D, it's almost seen as a downgrade. It's not always seen as a downgrade, but a lot of times it is. And then people get disappointed with the skin, yet if they just release that skin without the survey skin, then people will like it better. It makes a lot of sense. I never really thought about it that way. But yeah, I don't like that Epic Games does these survey skins in general. I would like to be part of the survey skins though, if they're going to keep doing it. I would like to vote on these skins. I've never had one before. But yeah, honestly, it's a really good point. I don't have anything else to add to it really, but you're right. You're totally right. Let's circle back to the theory with this one. Also, adding on to this theory and why I think this is because in previous comics, we've seen covers of X-23 with a chrome-like background, and X-23 just so happened to release in Chapter 3, Season 4. Also, the same thing happened with the Hulk and Sam Wilson's covers, so it showed a similar day and evening skybox to Chapter 4, Season 1 and the season they both released in. Also, another thing I thought of was the current events happening on the map with the cracks forming. I believe this has the potential to create another earthquake, which could lead to a new volcano for Season 3 coincidentally. Both the Captain Carter's cover and Silk's cover, despite both the volcano in the background as well as volcanic rocks falling from the sky. This makes all too much sense, man. This makes all too much sense. The volcano is probably going to come, and watch this be right. For those of you who don't know, Sizzo had a theory and called the theme for this season, so I'm always looking into it like, oh man, I hope you call it again, because that would be so hype. But it makes sense. It makes so much sense. Let's get into another theory. Another person who makes amazing theories is Imagine Purple. I think we're getting hinted at the Herald's return through this latest update. First thing I wanted to call out for this statement theory is that when you discover Eren Yeager's basement, located under that one car place in Anvil Square, it took me forever to find, by the way, I didn't look it up. It'll play the Chapter 3 Season 4 level up sound and new location discovery sound. Now, this could be an accident on Epic's end, yet if there's no bug or accident, then it tells me Epic is up to something. Secondly, I want to talk about one of the new upcoming skins called Serenade, who's probably out by the time this theory is read. I don't know actually if what that skin is called. Anyways, who has a description of telling us how the water changed her, yet her skin seems to have this oily like rainbow color to it. Oh, I know what skin you're talking about. I know what skin you're talking about. So, and I'm recording this a couple days before, so who knows if it's out. But more importantly, she seems to possess some sort of chrome-like substance to her suit and body. I was curious about that as well. The second to last argument here is that her soundtrack, a part of her set, which is called Serenade's Song, has a somber-esque mysterious vibe to the music. Now, more importantly is how the music pack has certain parts of the Nothing is an Inevitable track, which was the Herald's soundtrack. Within the track itself, Serenade, it seems to play bits and pieces of the Nothing is Inevitable, but sort of remixed. You can almost feel the Last Reality vibe from the track. Lastly, if you go back to the Fractured event, you would know the Herald froze itself in chrome. Now, many thought she was dead, but if you look at the tree from the event, it is now no longer chromed. I believe she froze herself in it to preserve her body from being destroyed from the explosion, waited for the island to form, and fled somewhere to hide. I think the whole point of consuming itself in chrome was to survive the explosion. To end off the theory, I believe the Herald is out there, and that Chapter 3 Season 4 was only one phase of her and the Nothing's plan. Well, we know that Nothing is coming back, and we know the Herald is alive, and I believe, I can't remember if it's this is totally accurate, but there's some evidence to show that the Herald was in the tree and escaped, because there's a hole in it or something. It's off the top of my head, I don't know. But regardless, the Herald tree is there, and it's gotta be there for a reason. And we know Epic Games, we know things will come back, and I was really disappointed at first, but now that we know the Herald's coming back and the Herald is part of the Nothing, we're getting more of the storyline on the Nothing. I want to see the Nothing return. I want that to be a really big storyline. I thought it was a great start to a story, and then it like abandoned it a little bit. But for this theory, it's very interesting, and I thought the same thing. Not the exact same theory, but I thought when I saw that skin, I saw like the chrome, and I was thinking like, you know what? Maybe it's kind of like Bites. Maybe it's kind of related to the Last Reality and the Nothing. It's interesting. Very interesting so far. The Herald's coming back. We just don't know when, but this is a very solid theory. And with that theory, I am going to put an end to this video today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. For those of you who are subscribed, I do have a little bit of an announcement on the channel. It's not like a woo yay announcement. It's like just a little bit of an update for you guys. I have one more video coming out today, and it's going to be a shorts compilation. I've pre-recorded a bunch of stuff for today. So I'm getting married this weekend, and I will definitely have no time for videos. None of that. You know what I mean? So everything's going to go back to normal. The start of next week. If not Monday, Tuesday at the absolute latest, but I'm planning on Monday. I'm going to have some shorts every day for those of you who are interested in those. Those are like really easy to make, really easy to schedule. So there's going to be no videos aside from the extra one coming out today, which already made, already pre-recorded, And yeah, I just want to give you guys an update. There's going to be no daily uploads. So I always appreciate you guys tuning in. I will see you very soon. And I'll be inactive. So I might be able to read the comments and stuff. But just don't expect me to be very active within the community, which is my favorite part. I don't mean to ignore you. I'm just going to be very busy the next few days. So guys, I appreciate you being here as always. And I will see you very soon. For now, I have 2 amazing videos on the screen for you to check out right now. They're great. Check them out. I'll be gone. So what will you have to watch? There's going to be no brand new videos. I'll see you in a few days, guys. Take care.